Hello, everybody. This is the STC's playoff recaps. We're going to be looking back at the overall standings as well as our week one of playoffs. With me today, I have Lemurro. Please say hi.
Hi.
All right. First off, we're going to talk about the overall team standings and how the team performed. Then we're going to talk about our semis here. If this will stop lagging. We're gonna talk about our semis matchups here. We have a pretty interesting matchups overall. I think both series will be pretty close. What do you think, Lemuro? Well, I guess your team's in playoffs. I can't reveal too
Yeah, well, I think the series should all be pretty close. No, I think I think every season playoffs have been pretty close.
much.
Like everyone has the same amount of budget, so it's kind of hard for one team to be significantly better than others.
Right, right. So going over to the overall team standings. So our four playoff teams are Three Zoras in first, Lunar Dream Meters in second, Overcooked Artilleries in third, and Chili Boys in fourth.
The
Overall,
GOAT team,
yep,
4 seeds winning again.
ZZ and Lunar Dream Meter especially both had really, really strong seasons. With a 36 and 20 and a 35 and 21. Very dominant with 5 wins, 1 loss and 1 tie. Overcooked Artilleries with 32 and 24 with 4 wins, 2 losses and 1 tie. And Chili Boys with 29 and 27, so they're almost about dead even. Just about. They're 1 game off of being dead even with 3 wins, 2 losses, 2 ties.
We want to mention that 2 of the ties and 1 of the losses came in the last 3 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That team was
Could be a really bad sign, could be a really good sign. Who knows?
give or take, give or take. Sometimes you get confident, you get a little lazy, you be like, oh, we should have this locked up, and then you start doing a little worse. Really,
Yeah.
it's really close towards the end where you guys almost missed to Happy Friends, but ZZ clutched up for you guys, and they didn't toss their games so you guys could miss.
Yeah, shout out Idol and Alice Sabrina.
I was surprised that they didn't. I thought they would, given they lost to you guys in regular season. I thought they would totally just toss so that you guys miss, and then they would just play Happy Friends with you. They swept them. I'm pretty sure, very close to.
I think it was 5-3.
Was it 5-3? Oh no, they played Happy Friends. They played Happy Friends at the end. Yeah. That was the team they were playing. But it was pretty. It was
They
pretty
lost
close
to you
though.
in second seed. So they
Mhm.
would have played
Oh, they would have played
artilleries.
Auxiliaries. Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind. Yep. Yeah. Overall, I think these two. I don't know which I would say. I think all of them are pretty capable of taking it home right now. Matchup wise, when I was looking at it, I think probably ZZ looked favored in more of their matchups than Chili Boys did, and I wasn't actually sure on LDE versus OCO. I still think a lot of the LDE drafts aren't like. So when I look at them, they always they kind of like what like how do I even approach this? Like I always look at like their SV1 and there's their SV1 and their SV3 are like the two big ones. So I'm like, how do I even approach this when I build the team? It's not even like playing against the team because like I know how I would play against them. It's like how would I as a player build with these more or less? But they've been working though, so
Yeah.
the teams have been working. So for what it's worth, I mean I just don't see the vision, right? You can't fault something. You can't fault something for can't fault what's working, right?
Yeah, that's the Dondozo and the Roaring Moon one, right?
Yeah. The Go Roaring Moon Dozo Mousehole team. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you want to just go 8-1?
Yeah, we can do that. We can start with steel rollers and go up.
Yep. The Steel Rollers, where did we have them before the auction?
You had him in eighth. I think I had him in like six. Yeah. I think you had him in eighth. I had him in six.
I
Preseason.
think I think we both had Happy Friends 8.
Yeah, they did a lot.
But
They did pretty well.
yeah, we both had them low and they didn't do exceptionally well. Made, I believe, just one mid-season trade, which was Tony for Street Cred Cookie.
Hmm
and I think they might have dropped one or two people also.
They picked up Mimbus, and he got some wins. He went 2-1, so that was actually a pretty good pickup for them.
Yeah.
Uh,
You want to pull up their roster sheet?
yeah. I'll pull up the roster sheet. Yeah, so they picked up Sour. Okay, they picked up other players. They picked up Geffica, Sour, and Mimbus, and traded for Tony. Did Geffica go? I don't think Sour won her game.
I
Did
remember she lost her last week.
Geffica went 1-2? Okay.
All right, that's not bad for a mid pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think the standout thing for the Steelrollers is besides Hamish 250 at 4-1, basically their entire roster is either just barely above 0500 or straight up negative.
Mm-hmm.
So they just really were not winning games.
Yeah. The next best player after that is Spades and Mimbus, who are 2-1, and then
Yeah.
because they didn't really slot that much, and then you had J Avent, Nico, and JK who slotted a bit more, but they're like 2 and 3.
Yeah. I think the week 2 08 loss was really backbreaking for them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they started 4-4, and then by week 2 that was 4-12, and then by week 3 they were 6-18.
It's
And at that point, it's
mhm.
really difficult to get out of the hole.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, if you ever get clean swept, especially 8 games, it's so hard to to morally rally your team to come back from that. Is really. I think they got swept twice. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it was very close to getting another sweep. I think they got like 1-7 another time where they won one and they lost 7. Like happened another week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, but it's not inconceivable for me to see them making playoffs if just a couple things had gone more right. I think the get nicked on, I think Nicholas Dinelli at 04, 35K is really their big problem. I think if he did better and then maybe a couple of the other players maybe just did like one win better, they might have been able to qualify. I think the big problem for them was kind of draft and prep quality.
Mm.
Like I remember when we faced them, they had a lot of bad matchups.
Yeah, their drafts weren't amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have anything? You want to move to 7 in standings now?
Yeah, we can. I'm not trying to comment too much because a lot of the comments might come from because I had we did the captain apps forms and a lot of feedback if I had to give to a team might come on later. So I'm not trying to comment too much on it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We can go on to 7. That's my team. I can speak on my team if you want because this is my own perspective on it. Or you could just tell me.
I can start with my perspective,
Yeah, go ahead.
and then you can give your own. So my perspective is that you guys were pretty good for the first 4 weeks, and you guys did get unlucky. I think Spades dodged a hydro pump versus you week 1, and I believe there were some hacks in the Happy Friends series too. And I remember very clearly week 4, Eat Foods. We were up 4-2, and Eat Foods got hacked by Mike, and that prevented you guys from getting the tie and kind of killed your season. And I feel like after that, it seemed like your team kind of lost motivation. Like I know you subbed out and Lodrice was slotting in, and no one seemed to be prepping super hard. I think Jay Maudry, who started off with like a very impressive 4-0 record, like kind of dropped off a little at the end of the season, probably because he didn't care as much. Your team was already out.
Yeah, you hit it kind of right on the money. We were doing really well up until then. The Chili Boys series kind of killed us in motivation because we got robbed in like 2 games that we should have won. For what it's worth, they were very preventable losses, and that's usually what killed the team's motivation, right? Because from there we had to fight ZZ immediately into it, right? And there was that, and then the other two teams, right? So LDE, who's like number two in standings, and ZZ, who's number one. We lost the Chili Boys after. Once we lost the Chili Boys, or yeah, I think we tied, right? Or did we lose?
No, I think you guys lost.
Oh yeah, yeah. We did. Yep. From there, it was kind of like we can't. We're basically, if we don't win out, we can't make it. It was very simple. That was it. If and in versus ZZ, we didn't. Once we lost out, it was like, all right, we're done. Because as soon as they got to four, we can't do anything. We can't make it. It was not possible for us to make it at that point.
Yeah,
Because
it
look,
felt like
Chili Boys is sitting at 8. We still would have missed. Even if we won our last two, we still would have missed.
uh-huh. Yeah, it felt like the bottom three teams were all basically out by week 4.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a 5-man race at the last half of the season.
Yeah. I'm sure Starstorm Crusaders kind of had the same thing. They were a bit more because they don't have a single series wins. They have only ties.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think it kind of plays into what I was saying earlier. I had said Robin had a very middling squad, where the team was very like middling. I didn't say nobody really excelled in like anything.
Yeah.
And that kind of shows with the records overall, but that they mostly tied. Hey, Robin himself did well. Flap did well. I believe Angel did fine, right? Angel went 3-3. Jay went 3-3.
Yeah.
Misa went 3-4. Jesse went 2-1. So overall, middle of the pack, right? There's not really
Yeah, I
too
think
much else
the
to say.
yeah.
Well, go ahead, though. Can I cut you off?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to when we played them. I think that was week 2. Yeah, they're just kind of a solid squad, but like there's no top level talent. I think you're kind of relying on the captains to be that, and they were okay, but they weren't super good. Like they went about 0500, which
Mm.
like not to criticize, because like if I was them, I would also self buy. But when both of your captains self buy, you can't go 7-7.
Well, like my
Um,
co-cap went 07, right? So, like it's a whole perspective thing. Most captains from these bottom ends, they went either neutral or they either went negative or neutral, right? That was kind of the difference between these teams up here and these teams down here, right? Let's look at Esther 4-3, right? Okay. No pull to 5-2 season, overall positive, right? Let's
yeah,
see. I actually think Plant and Tio might be the exception. 3-2. Where's Plant? I don't see him. He's somewhere. Yeah, so they actually went negative, the ZZ, but then overall they still like their players went crazy. 4-0, 5-2,
yeah,
7-0. I know Sven went positive. Yeah, 4-1. Believe the end went positive 4-2. Yeah. So for the most part, other than ZZ, all the playoff captains went positive. Well, TL went positive, but their overall like combined
yeah,
captains went positive. You know what I mean?
yeah. Looking at the roster, I don't think they have a single person in the top 15 standings. I think it's Robin at the top at 4-3, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
little tricky to make playoffs if you don't have one or two players going crazy.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen a playoff team where everybody went like even.
Yeah, yeah. Usually, like every playoff team has like one MVP candidate.
Oh no, yeah, you can literally look at the top right here. ZZ, OCO, not the Dream Eaters, Chili Boys. Like, it's
Yeah.
literally one from every team. Yeah. Next is Happy Friends. Do you have any comments on Happy Friends? They were one of the other teams that was lowest rated. They ended up doing pretty well overall. They have a lot of their players actually just straight up went they either went even or they went positive. There's very few players on this team who actually like went negative. There's like 1-4 Commander, 2-0 Vertigo, and like all the other players on the team like got a win, just a win, right?
Yeah, yeah. They were pretty. I think they kind of picked up in the second half of the season. They really started winning,
Mm-hmm.
and they almost made it back. Um, I think the one thing for them was that they had a lot of great players. but not a ton of support.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I heard that like Aragon like didn't or like barely did any mocks for the game 8 versus me,
Uh-huh.
and obviously mocks are good. You need mocks to win. So like I think they did slightly worse than the kind of the talent on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say we did kind of misjudge their drafts. Like we were making a lot of fun of the Rinya Sun Sneasel draft, but I'm pretty sure that draft went like 4-2 or something. Like it did very
Yo,
well.
I got robbed by that draft. I'm sorry to my opponent, Scotty. Great guy. Yo, he robbed me, man.
I think they still go positive even without.
I know it still is positive. Vinny was telling me that team matched into every Moltres Galar team. I said he get matched into all of them, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
The team was like a magnet for like the one specific kind of team comp. So like every week they probably just brought the same kind of thing.
yeah. I think it does say something that they felt confident bringing it, because you do get to bench one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and Happy Friends also went dead even. Like their record, like them and Chili Boys, like this is really really close if you actually like if, like looking at it.
Yeah, I guess the wins just didn't come on the right weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can totally see that. I can totally see that. All right. Then next is Chili Boys. Do you want to make any comments about your own team, or I could think? Do you want me to comment on it?
Let me think. Uh, we kind of got, as members of our team have brought up in chat every single week, we kind of got hacked by the Lunar Dream Eaters,
Mm-hmm.
but we did hacks the Marwell Mafia, so it's okay.
Uh-huh.
I think what's notable is that we kind of had a big three.
Yeah.
Me, The End, and Trace. And I'm pretty sure the three of us combined for like one game above 0500, but we still made the playoffs because our min bids did super well.
Yeah,
So,
your min bids popped off. That's what I was gonna mention.
The Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to mention The End started 0-2, but
Yes.
he finished 4-2.
Yes. He came back towards the later half. He locked in. Yeah, this is a kind of a crazy season for Kant. He's not typically one of the players I would say who are super consistent because I don't think Hakan is necessarily bad at Pokemon. I don't think he's far from it. But I've also seen games where Hakan should win. He's lost really, really badly. As someone who's worked with him in the past, but maybe he just didn't care. I'm not sure.
He's a newer too, isn't he? This is his first STC season.
This is his first STC, but he's played in a bunch of smaller end tours. I believe he's also played in Smogon and stuff. Where I don't think he's had too many notable results outside of like little cup stuff.
I don't think so.
But like I said, really impressive season. Really impressive season. Probably put him on the radar for stuff. I heard he was on the radar for stuff like DCL, so maybe he'll get picked up for quite a bit there.
Yeah, well, they do pay attention to STC results.
Mm-hmm. All right, next is OCO. OCO's returning franchise directly for returning. I think it's the only one from last season.
Yeah. Some spiritual successors, but it's the only returner.
And they also made playoffs again. Last season they got hacked by the Rising Plant team, but they don't play Plant this time, so they should be fine. They play LDE. What can I say about OCO? OCO was also kind of like one of those teams where their min bids really popped off. Code really popped off, right? Null had a great season. Repeats had a good season. I mean, Repeat started off kind of shaky. Esther also started off pretty shaky. They kind of came back towards the end. The rest of their teams overall pretty middling.
Kind of lackluster drafts. Because like they were giving their best draft to the other players, and they were taking the weaker ones. So I think their record definitely could be better.
I think. Yeah.
Their skill level.
I think the thing that fucked them over was griefing that Usum 3. That Usum 3 grief at the start of the season is probably going to really bite them in the ass. Because that team could have been so much stronger. And that's a team that Esther and others have been slotting consistently throughout the season. So the fact that team got griefed, that means your record could have been so much better, right? The only thing I'm pretty concerned about is their 6-1 player is benched here in semis. For players who have like a lesser win rate. So I would say LDE in this sense I think LDE is kind of like really favored because they benched their strongest player, which is Code. It's just not slotting, right? So
Yeah.
assumedly, and you have Repeat, No, and Esther, which are your big three right now who are slotting. Normally you'd have your big four, which they did have, but they don't have that. So and Esther's already lost at this point, right? So like, and then the rest of their players are either 1-0 or like even or negative. So it's kind of shaky, at least on that end, right? Um,
Yeah. I think their swish is also a bit of a point of vulnerability.
mhm.
I think basically even if they placed Zoro's would have also picked double swish against them,
Right.
and
Well,
if
just
they
triple
get
swish, but yes.
yeah, and then I think if they go to a tie break, swish probably gets picked against them again.
Mhm.
So that's kind of vulnerable. Like I feel like the weakest link is kind of a problem in this format if you have a weak link because people can just exploit that. But on the other hand, they do have a strong link,
Mm.
which is their Usum one. Like that team is very good. I think if I were them, I would probably, if
Is
the series went to tiebreak, pick that.
oh, the team knows
That's
using.
a great.
Yeah, that seems really
Yeah.
strong. Yeah, I agree.
Although I have heard that it has a bad matchup into one of the Lunar Dream Eaters teams, so we'll have to see about that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Next is LDE, who we were just talking about. LDE is a team that I think surpassed everybody's expectations on how it actually was going to do. I know Sven, from what I've heard, he's a grinder. He does he goes hard in prep. He goes hard. He's very active and all that kind of stuff. So compliments to him. Compliments to him and his captain Justin Tang on how they've done for the season. Good job on surpassing everybody's expectations. Overall, very positive season for most of their players. Solinar,
Yeah,
Redian, himself being the big three on the team. Ben Build had an overall positive 3-1. Impulse pulled another positive season. Tang also pulled a positive season, right? And everybody else on the team was able to somewhat get wins. Cheesy went 2-1. Miniman went 2-1. Double A went 3-4. Right? Still impressive seasons overall, right? Their
yeah,
weakest link is actually well, Ali only played one game. It's actually Shister, who you would really wouldn't expect to be a weak link on the team because he's not bad. So like considering your weakest link is 2 and 3, this is a team that's looking really strong right now. Um,
yeah. Like I was trying to look for a weakest link. It's probably their SV because they don't have a super positive player, but their SV is still very good.
I think it just comes down to their drafts. I think that's it. It's just the drafts, right? Overall, I think their players have been doing really really well, and I think it goes back to what you said earlier, to where you need to prep and you need to mock to do well. And I know this team is doing that, which is really
Yeah,
good, which complements them, like straight up.
yeah. They've got the golden duo. They've got just generally good players, and they've got a lot of support too.
Mm-hmm. Is there
Yeah, and I do want to
anything?
mention
Go
I
ahead.
was talking about the Usum one from Oko. Their Usum three actually beat the Usum one last week, and they matched up again. So that's another kind of point in their favor for Oko.
I know LDE, and you know what? Sven can type in general or something to prove me wrong, but I'm 90% sure with confidence LDE threw most of their games last week, or they didn't care. It was one of the two. I can tell you, Cheesy's game was definitely thrown.
Easy definitely threw his game and ended up getting rewarded for it because Ben Build won the run back to the same matchup.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. They got
I
Giga
haven't heard
rewarded
much
for
about
that one.
Cheesy though.
They won this matchup too. This Usum 3 versus their Usum 1. I believe LGE won last time. They won off a crit.
Yeah,
I think from what I remember. I think they have other mirror matches here. I think they said there was 4 mirror matches. I forget what they exactly were. Oh, the Impulse versus Repeat is another mirror match. I forgot who won that one originally. Maybe I think Impulse did.
I believe Repeat won it because I
Uh
remember he's like 5-0 over the last 5 weeks.
okay. So and then they have another one, but I don't know which one that one is.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting week overall. And then last is Zui Zorwas. What comments do we have on CC? This was a team we expected to be strong and was strong. Any comments on it? I think the worst player on their team is 03 Chris Reed and 1-3 Plant. I think everybody else is positive, or is everyone's even or positive. Yeah. Yep.
yeah. I think everyone is basically either met or exceeded expectations besides maybe Chris Reed and Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I think something that's really interesting is Fluffy 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
Like he like going into the auction, like no offense to him, but I thought he was kind of like him an act like a culture pick, because he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really showed up this season. Really just got put in the wins.
The glory of being a min bid. You get to be the goat, and if you go goat only, there's no alternative. You're only ever the goat. Don't really have much to say on the team overall. I think 3-1 K Crick's really good. No, him and Zing also they both went 3-1. That's actually pretty cool. They match the record.
Singles dominance.
Singles dominance. That goes. I think we said before that like these singles players could pop off. In the end, they did. Zing and Crick both popped off really hard.
Yep.
Is there anything else I want to comment on? I think overall with player standings going in, this is about what I expect them to look like for the most part, with a bunch of min bids popping off. Normally, that's how it goes in STC. A lot of min bids always pop off, and then next season they have different teams. And it's kind of interesting to see how they'll do next season, right? Because who popped off last season? Do you remember? Let me go back and let's go check the doc.
I believe Lodrice was one.
Let's see. We can
Mini
open
Man.
the doc here.
Alice Sabrina popped off last season and popped off this season too.
Oh yeah, that's the goat right there. That's my goat. Let's see. Look to the doc. We'll go to standings.
Soul Survivor.
Soul Survivor did not sign up this season.
He didn't play this season. I'm thinking AFK Champion popped off last season. He was okay this season.
Yeah,
he started off pretty hot, and then his team got knocked out.
So let's see for
Actually, no, he's on Oko. Okay, so I guess he's doing okay then.
So let's see. Mini Man didn't have a great season this season. Compared to last season where he pulled a 6-1. Esther also did worse. Death Smash did worse. Cookie did way worse. Tio did worse. Angel did worse. I did worse. Damn. Death Smash did worse. Damn. Yeah, all these guys did worse. Oh my god. Look at that. Every person here did worse. Repeat had a better season. The end pulled a. The end is about where he was. One extra loss, but he had one less game here. Axie did worse. Keith did worse. Flip did about even here. I think you're about even. Alice Sabrina's literally about the same. Feels about the same. Chris Reed did worse. Yeah. Wow. That is crazy. Look at that. All the newcomers came in and smoked everybody. This showed us all that we're all ass.
With like the app pool almost doubling.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely humbling,
Definitely humbling. Nah, I'm still gonna talk my shit. I'll still talk my shit. That's pretty cool though. That's cool to see that it's all newcomers and shit. That's awesome. Hopefully they'll all come back. Next on is into playoffs. Do we want? I'm probably not gonna make too much matchup comment wise. I'll talk about ZZ versus your team. Overall, I think ZZ's a bit more favored. Especially because Chili Boys they've kind of been slacking. I don't know if they've been slacking off. I'll use the word slacking off. It looks like they have, especially from how hot they started at the start versus now, where they're kind of been floundering a bit towards the end. Maybe it's because that boy slotted himself and lost, and so DN got one last game.
We don't talk about that.
Again, unsure, but I would say ZZ is favored. They have an overall stronger lineup. They have I think 2 undefeated players playing right now. They actually play your big guys. So this Idol game versus the Crow and Fluffy versus the End are probably the most key pieces to the set. And I think if those matchups go towards either team, those will be the game. Those will be the week defining sets. If the Crow and the End get the upset versus Fluffy and Idol, I can easily see Chili Boys beating ZZ then. Especially because Plant's not having a great season. And Coil has just better record overall, right? So you just go based on that, right? You have more matchup. You have more. If you have the knowledge diff versus K Crick, right? Zach versus 2-4 should probably go in favor of ZZ. I don't see Tio losing to Az. I think the Boris versus Trace will be a close game. So I think that I think also a Kant versus Alice Sabrina is also a game to look out for. But I think if those two specifically get flipped, then yeah, I can see Chili Boys taking the win.
Yeah, I do want to mention that 234 versus Zach is a rematch. Zach is not using the same. Zach is not the same player. 234 is the same player. It was 234 versus Feel last time, and 234 won.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, you guys beat them the first time, didn't you?
Yeah, we beat them. We were their only loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's not,
Yeah,
that's not bad.
partially because we swept Usam. We'll see if that happens again.
All right, and then next is LDE versus OCO. I think this will be the closer series between the two. It's already had a game played, which is Ben Build One versus Esther. That was the rematch. Unfortunately, the strat of cheesy throwing and then trying to play for the rematch ended up working out because now Ben Build knew what the problematic set into his team was, which I believe he commented was a Scarf Latios or something like that, which was really good into his team, and he knew it was Scarf. Um, Now going in to prep for Scarf and stuff, something like that, right? So, it's already LD is already up on the series. Overall, though, I say LD is favored. I would say if Code was playing, I'd favor OCO a bit more, just because especially I think they're SV. They might sweep SV, but I'm thinking they might drop 2 SV games this week. Maybe they may go like 2-1, either 1-2 or 2-1. Like I don't think either team gets completely swept in SV, but I would say it's more. I think it's maybe more likely for LDE to go 2-1 than OCO to go 2-1. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think OCO really needs its Swish to pipe up here.
Yes.
Because your SV is weaker with Code out,
Mm-hmm.
and your SM, you've lost one game, and the other game is a rematch of a game you lost last time.
Mm-hmm.
So, really need Swish to win.
Yeah, and then they have two big players right now in their Swish, which are Solinar and Sven, who are part of their big three, right? So yeah, that's why I'm saying I think LD is like pretty favored right now at this point. But OCO's a good team, so they can anything can happen, right? It's draft. You could luck a series, you could out prep, outplay. You never know how it goes, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments we want to make here? You want to wrap it up?
I'm trying to think.
I hope K
No, I
Crick
think
smokes you. Just for the culture.
Yeah, K-Crick smokes me.
Yeah. All right. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope everybody enjoyed STC. You have any final comments,
Yeah.
Lemurro?
I'm looking for new names for the Dave Roberts Award. Please suggest your names in the comments.
Me. No, it's definitely not me. We could check standings right now. You can look for Dave Roberts. Let's see.
Name the award.
Oh, it's definitely Carney, by the way, who gets the Dave Roberts Award.
Probably, yeah.
We definitely need a new name for it.
Lamborghini and Chet suggested. That one's an interesting one.
We gotta maybe make it a basketball reference. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, a basketball team that never makes playoffs, but they have a really good players. Ah, the Kings.
No. We should do baseball. We should do the Angels.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe.
Yeah, leave
Whoops.
your suggestions in the comments, people.
You're right.